Make the most of yourself by fanning the tiny inner sparks of possibility into flames of achievement. And this, my friends, is my credo by which I live.
Sue was a force for good. She was a force for caring.
She was a force for change, for making things better.
Force of nature, a force of humanity.
You felt her love.
You want me to talk about Sue Miller? Check out her smile! It was infectious.
Sue Miller was a force and remains a force. She was the kind of person who could speak for, care about, show the love for individuals who need someone to be a voice for them.
There was never a time that you met or encountered Sue or even exchanged an email with her where you did not feel this incredible warmth and depth of humanity and caring.
In meeting Sue, I was assuming a new role here at United Way, and I was not sure, frankly, that it was the right role for me. She walked in the room, she gave me the biggest hug, and said, "We're gonna do amazing things together."
I first met Sue when I was a new bride. I was in an outing with my mother-in-law, Bertha. To Bertha, Sue was her young friend, little Susie. She would tell me about Sue and her husband Leonard's incredible dedication to family and to our community.
She actually would go door to door in some of the high-rise buildings of Miami Beach, knock on the door, and ask people to make a gift. We stopped doing that kind of fundraising, and in part we stopped doing it because Sue made a transition. She wanted more resources to do the job, helping people. Organizationally, this United Way had decided that it was not going to have a Tocqueville Society. She wanted one desperately here, and so we just said, let's just do it.
She's intense. She will wear you down and get you to a point to say, okay, I'm gonna do it. But you do it not because she wore you down, but because she convinced you that it was a worthy cause.
I remember talking to Sue a few years ago. She mentioned to me, you know, I went to a conference in another state and all the women gave $1,000. And then she said, let's do it here. And next thing you know, there were 1,000 women giving $1,000.
Sue's involvement with women's leadership was just another, and it's funny to say just another, massive contribution that she made to our organization.
Many years ago when we were at the beginning of women's leadership, Sue Cobb, her very good friend at that time, was a U.S. ambassador to Jamaica.
Sue Miller said, oh my gosh, we have to take women to Jamaica. We have to help the United Way. And Sue Cobb make the most of her efforts in Jamaica.
We had about 25 or 30 women from the United Way come down to Kingston and meet with their counterparts in the United Way of Jamaica. It was a wonderful trip, and I still hear from the women who went.
We had a lot of fun in the process, which is, I think, one of the takeaways of when you did these things with Sue. There was so much fun.
It became obvious very early on that our ability to affect change in the early education system was rooted in public policy efforts. And so, of course, she immediately summoned us that we must go to Tallahassee and to Washington, D.C. In every meeting that we had with a legislator, Sue simply leaned forward and said, what are you going to do to help us with this? And of course, one after another said, yes, ma'am, we understand, and we're going to work on this.
When I think of Sue, which is actually pretty often because she remains a really important inspiration for me, and I think a lot of people in the United Way staff, her most human times were what I remember best.
In really big moments, on the biggest stage, she shined like a diamond. And in the quietest, most difficult moment, she stepped right up and gave a kind, gentle hand on the shoulder of a person who needed her.
It's 12 years ago. I was undergoing chemo at Sylvester at the University of Miami. And I was in bed recovering when that morning I read about their very generous gift to name the University of Miami Miller School of Medicine. And I remember sending her an email that said, "Dear Sue, because of your generosity and vision, maybe my daughter will never have to feel the fear that I am feeling now." She responded. There was this warmth and genuine feeling of caring that makes us all want to continue her work here at the United Way.
It's hard to separate Sue out from her family. I mean, Sue and Leonard both, I mean, were remarkable charitable spirits, as their children are. I mean, they are absolutely leaders in this town.
They are all in the game of being amazing citizens, contributors.
It's beyond giving money or support.
It's really about changing the spirit of an institution in terms of how it approaches its community responsibilities and its ability to change the health care and the health of essentially our society. That's a big deal.
Her vision of creating women's leadership and bringing women to the table as true drivers of philanthropy.
Institutionally, her ability to take programs like the Tocqueville Society, $1 Million Roundtable, Women's Leadership, and others to heights that are not achieved anywhere in the country like they are here. She'll never be forgotten here, that's for sure.
Sue's always omnipresent, her guidance, her spirit, but more than that is about the passion of the United Way, of helping people in our community, of seeing the needs in our community. And that propels us. It's not an obligation, it really is that sense of joy that she always brought to the table.
I've seen firsthand the tremendous impact we can have when we work together to improve the lives of the community around us. I hope I have inspired others to roll up their sleeves, to get involved, to make a difference.